you have to walk barefooted. There is no chalwati. You have to walk barefooted, and on the way going, sometimes you have to get water in a water bottle. Wow. When you are going, when the sun is burning your feet, then you pour some small and then stand on it for some time and continue.
Please repeat that. You walk barefooted.
Barefooted. There is no chalwati. Chalwati was not common. So you walk barefooted. So in the process, you have to hold water bottle.
In our everyday lives, we come across many stories of ordinary people who have achieved extraordinary success in spite of their humble background and limited resources and opportunities. Today, I happen to have one of these great personalities to be interviewed as he shares stories of humble beginning so that they inspire others to reach great heights. I am Nimatu Yakuba Toyese, and I'm with the Honorable Member for Keta, Honorable Kwame Gakpe. Am I right? Honorable, welcome to GhanaWeb TV.
Thank you very much.
Can you share a little story about your upbringing?
Oh, I'm from humble beginning. As you see, my parents are both teachers. Not teachers of today, former teachers. Those days there is no single spine, so you can imagine the kind of salary they have been receiving. And then I grew up in a village called Angolo Afiaranyima under the Keta municipality. Those days there were no electricity, there were no pipe-borne water, and then you have to walk about 3 miles to school. Those days there is no presence of internet or mobile phone. Those days there's nothing. Walking 3 hours, even vehicle, there were no vehicle. You have to walk barefooted. There is no chalwati. You have to walk barefooted, and on the way going, sometimes you have to get water in a water bottle. Wow. When you are going, when the sun is burning your feet, then you pour some small and then stand on it for some time and continue.
Please repeat that. You walk barefooted.
Barefooted. There is no chalwati. Chalwati was not common. So you walk barefooted. So in the process, you have to hold water bottle where you have some water in it. So when the sun is hitting the floor, and the sun is hitting you, and then you feel your feet is getting hotter and hotter, and then you have to pour some water on the floor and then stand on it for some time, and then continue the journey. And then that is how. And then in those days, when you want to learn, those days we use mosquito net, not the improved version now. Now that we have a transparent and improved version of mosquito net, people have been using. Those days we have what we call calico. And then the calico we are talking about, sometimes people use flour, the flour bag. And that's what they use to sew the mosquito net. And then because you don't have light, you have to use bobo, And then that's what we use to light before go through our studies for the day. So basically,
how long did you walk barefooted?
Oh yes, for the where I was, my village to the secondary school is about 3 miles. So 3 years for the GSS, 3 years.
Was there no support, or why is it that you couldn't afford?
No, that time there is no vehicle, there is no motor, and then even there is no car. Those days I remember there were twins who normally go into sand winning. They have been supplying sand to the people. Sometimes on the way they will stop and then they will jump into their car that they used to convey. These trucks. And then sometimes once in Bloom, and that one we are so happy. And then you can imagine those days. So,
no, let me ask. You're walking barefooted. Was it because you couldn't afford sandals, or it was just you grew up into the system, so you adapted to it?
Oh, we grew up in the system. Even it's not there. Those days, it's not even getting sandals. It's not like today. It's not common. Even to get is the people who are rich get. This chalwati even to wear those days. So if you have one shoe, I remember in secondary school when I went to Sogawa Secondary School. I was wearing one shoe from Form 1 all the way to Form 3. Yes.
What?
Yes, you have no option. And then that time there was no electricity too. We are using school plant. There is no water on campus, you have to go to Sugakopo River and fetch water and come to on campus. Sometimes you have to get that water to pantry, and then both male and female, you have to fetch water from the Sugakopo River, bring to campus to feed the polytank on campus for the kitchen staff to use before you talk about yours. They try to put some plan to pump water, but it's not also not regular. It's irrational. So we managed to actually go through that one also for 3 years. And then what I'm talking about, I left secondary school 93. Yeah. 1993, I finished my secondary school. Yeah, so you can imagine what we are seeing. It's by His grace we are looking. You think it's people see me, they say, oh, some small boy, young guy. 28th of June, I was 48 years. Yeah, so in the next 2 years, I'll be 50 years. It's by His grace. So,
Honorable, after facing all these challenges growing up, at what point did you see a breakthrough? And what was the turning point for you?
oh, for me to continue, in the village, so you must adjust yourself, learn. Though your parents are teachers, though I went through school fast because my parents were teachers. You have to do our place. They do fishing, so you have to learn how to do fishing, how to weave, kente weaving. You will learn, and then other menial jobs that you can do to lay hands on to survive. And a man must survive. I was going into even petty trading where I have to take crab from Angloga Market all the way to Afram Plains. During those days, I'm talking in the 90s, where my mom, though is a teacher, he goes into this trading. So I've been following her. We have to go to Nkoko, Afram Place, go see Fanti, Mami Krobo. Those days we buy crab to go inside, and we buy yam. We normally buy plantain and then maize, and also come back and to come and sell. It was a good business. And so those days, you have to mine salt. My hometown, we mine salt. Mining of salt is also something that we are actually, it's part of us, and we learn all that. So after the secondary school, that my uncle lives in Accra here, and by then he was working he was the managing director of State Farms Corporation. So I stayed with my uncle and then continued my tertiary education. That one too was working. I worked with talent marketing before, talent marketing services. I worked with Top Radio. Those days, at the talent marketing, we were consulting for trade fair, the Indotech. Now there is no Indotech and all those trade fair. Those things, AGI organized Indotech, and then the trade fair organized trade fair those days. And then though it was, it was nice, interesting experience. You have to assist school people are coming to trade fair, and then it's a one-top shop where everything is there. And then those days how trade fair is, everybody want to see things around, sometimes late, so we do organize that, get sponsorship for that. And I have worked with Vlisco groups of company before as a sales executive. That one too, I've stayed there, within. And all that, we have impression, Bugolo, and all that kind of impression. So we work with GTP and all those places before. And then from there, because of the experience with those companies, I decided to actually do marketing. So I went to IPS.
Honorable, you've narrated how you started at a very younger age, how you hustled. Did you ever foresee yourself becoming an MP?
No, never.
How did the journey start for you?
When I went to IPS to go and do marketing, and those days, IPS is not today. They themselves, they only do professional courses, where you have to register with professional courses outside the country, UK. So I was part of the Institute of Chartered Marketing. We have to register and do our courses. And then we have to write 16 papers before you charter as a chartered marketer those days. And those days, a paper was £30. Yes, it's not today. And the registration fee too, you have to pay a registration fee. And the registration fee lasts for a year. At the end of it, you have to renew your registration before you go. So on campus that, we started, student activity, useful exuberance. You have to, we have the thing, and then all that we joined, and then that was the vice president by then on campus. And during by-elections, by then, Professor Joshua Alabi was my teacher. He's one of the lecturers. And then, he's rooted in NDC. So by-elections, we the student front, we go to such by-elections and all that. And then as a executive on campus. So from there, we have what we call SIFE, Student in Free Enterprise. It's a program that you do, and you bring competition between the various tertiary institutions. You come out with programs where you impart how impactful you are to the community. So fortunately for me, we went to do one of the program. I was the vice president by then with the SIFE also on campus.
Aside being
Yes. So we went for a program called Malapro. It's a malaria program. We dub it Malapro. So that was 2003 that way. And we met Dr. Bat Planche, who was the program manager by then at Kolebu, to interview with her, and then from there we air it on Metro and Joy FM as part of the program. We aren't successful because when any school that win represent the country outside, so it's an international program. So the Bala Pro, when we win, the way the woman receives us, and then we perform very well. So those days it haven't been easy, but the woman, more or less like a mother, started sometimes send me money on monthly basis for my upkeep because of the good work we are doing. And then eventually she wrote officially to National Service Secretariat. It's not today that if my time comes and my time is due, they should post me to GhanaWeb Service Malaria Control Program. So I was posted there. That was December 2003 to 2004. And so we started the national service there. And then at the end of the day, by then, when you finish school, national service, you have to go home. But I decided to move on, continue with them with that pay. But we
work without
1 year because we were going on trek. By then we were receiving 30 Ghana.
Okay, so aside not being paid, when you are given a project,
because we normally travel malaria to all other regions, so that one they give you per diem and then you manage and then you survive. So even the per diem alone by then was good for me. So I was on working, and then they started working on the Global Fund. So the pilot Global Fund district were 20, they started, and then they kicks off eventually 2005. So we are on it. And then it came to a point for recruitment of the people. I was lucky to be part of the people who started Global Fund in the country. It's a UN project for TB, HIV, and malaria. So I was part. So I'll be with Ministry of Health GhanaWeb Service for malaria control process under the disease control for 16 good years on contracts, and I've worked. And when it comes to work, I don't joke with my work. My record is still there when you go. I was on and then continued to pursue my career doing other courses, and eventually I went into public health and I did masters in public health.
let's talk about politics. At what point did
I will.
you become
So at that point when I was working also, from the school, the interest is there. So I did.
you were then the vice
Right. So I decided to be supporting my constituency during those time. So motorbikes, bicycles, support the executive. So at a point in time, I was part of a member, as executive member of the Keta constituency. Are you getting the point? At that time, Honorable Lassie Agbenyega was also tilting towards contesting. So I did not contest. So, Lassie Agbenyega was a member of parliament for us. We were supporting. Until 2015, I decided to run to test the waters.
because was he also contesting?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, he was contesting, and then Honorable Richard Koshiga was contesting, lawyer Chris Akume was contesting, and Rocky Amuji was also contesting. So we are the 5 pillars.
Are you not scared that
One thing about me, I don't know. I have that big heart. I fear nothing. It's only God. I don't fear anything. That's me. Nah, fear is out of me because I'm the type who take risk. I'm always a risk taker. So I take risk without fear or favor because the higher the risk, the sweeter the victory. That's how I am. I'm very calm, respectful, humble, but I don't fear.
You were 5 contestants in 2015.
Yeah.
So
Delegate system they use, but it's not every delegate that votes. You know, a branch is about 2 or so, 2 per branch. So at that time, and then 5 of us, we battle it out, and then that time, Honorable Richard Koshiga had 97, last year had 89, I had 51, Rocky Amuji had 52, and then Fire Try, and then Lawyer Chris Akumi had 10 votes. Wow. So this is how it is. So that was 2012. Okay. 2012. Yes. Yeah, so 2015 I contested with Honorable Richard Koshiga and myself and then Rocky Amuji and then one Kofi Kukubo also came on board. And then the current Greater Accra Women Organizer, is it the Deputy Women Organizer? She also came on board as one of the female who we all contested. So at that time, and then Honorable Richard Koshiga, that one was not a delegate system. It was more open, and then a lot of people get on board, and then I lost. I was the second, and then Honorable Richard Koshiga won that day. So I decided I will contest again. So
if you had gotten lesser than what you had, if you're not second, would you have still contested?
I will contest. Because that's my determination. I will still contest. So in the year 2019, then the delegate system is back, and then Honorable Koshiga stepped down that will not contest.
You gave a reason for that
he said it's a calling. I mean, it's a prophecy that he wants to contest only 2 terms. So because of that, he wants to honor and obey the voice of the God. So he decided to bow out of the contest, and then I went in. So I also, because he was not contesting, and then prophecies that will come, because I'm the type, you see, I believe in one thing: failure. Okay. There's nothing called failure in my life. I keep on saying failure means defer success. It's not your turn. So when you move on, you definitely. So I believe failure is a defer success. That's how I respect failure. So in life, in politics, either win or you lose. That's how it's supposed to be. So and then focus demands sacrifice. So if you are determined, you must move on. So I picked that. Unfortunately for me, by then our constituency chairman was also interested. I didn't know, and then he also bowed down to contest. And then we all went in a delegate system, and God being on my side, I emerged victorious. I pulled out of 775 plus voters, I pulled 444. My closest contender pulled 328, and the rest 4, 5, and then that's it. And I emerged the winner, and that is how come I came to the Ghana's Parliament in 2021. That in January 7th, I was sworn as to represent the good people of Keta.
Honorable, you are one of the MPs who have had strong contenders. I think you have one of the powerful people, and I think you in classifying it, you say you were the youngest and you were the fresh face. Was it very difficult for you merging into the constituency?
In politics it's very rough. In the surface you see it. It's like how the lagoon is, where there are holes you don't know because it's flat, you don't know. So politics, that's how it is. A lot you see back when you see it. A lot of politics you go through emotional, spiritual, society. A lot of you are fighting a lot of in the spiritual realm also. Yeah, you see there are so many things that happen.
That leads me to the question. You've been attacked 5 times by armed robbers, and some took you to hospital, and you spent a number of days there. Can you give us a little?
No, after winning on the August,
Which year?
2019.
Okay.
And then in the December 11th, after the primaries, and then we are entering into real campaign. And then after that 11th, I was robbed. That was after winning the election to be parliamentary candidate elect. So I was robbed on the 11th December, attack. And it's by His grace I'm alive. And then I was admitted at Keta Government Hospital. And the same day, the way the whole community are massing up, I have to be transferred from Keta to 37 Military Hospital. I was there for 2 weeks. And then I'm better. God's hands at work. So I was safe. Though I have a lot of wounds and all that. By His gun wounds and all that, by His grace. Yeah, so I was. It's by His grace. It's by His grace. And it continues like that. On the January 11th too, the same thing. And it continued like 5 times. But in all this, I place my life in the hands of the Almighty.
So from 2019 to 2020.
Five. Yes, I'm robbing attacks.
Wow.
Yeah. They went to I have filling station. They went there to go and do, and then there to they after me. They wounded a lot of people. I have to even take them to hospital. Some have fracture. They have to be in there for 3 months. Spend money on them. They have done a lot.
How do you feel about this? And so far, how has been the process? Have you gotten justice yet?
Yeah, the last one we are able to apprehend about 6 of them, and then they have been sentenced to prison for 20 years. Just about 2 months ago.
Are you impressed?
Oh yeah, fine. Yes. Some have run away because it's a network. Some are not even Ghanaians. Some are Nigerians and other countries. So,
do you suspect anybody behind this? Do you think it is?
Definitely, the people will be behind it. But that one,
do you have a
I won't say I have a clue, but based on what have happened, I leave everything to the Almighty God. You see, in God we trust. You can, God have said, because the scripture says in all things give thanks to the Lord. So long as I'm alive, that matters. The rest, is.
How has been the journey so far in Parliament, especially being in the opposition? There's a reason your constituents may have retained you, and what do you think you've done right?
It's about humility, and then and then as well as the relationship with the people. In life, you must always be humble, no matter how you are. Be very humble, and God will raise you. So in life is a process. Humility pays, and loyalty also pays. So those are the 2 key: humility and loyalty. People will reward you, no matter how people come with money or anything. Definitely they will reward you because you have been with them, and then you have been there, and then the people's hope are placed on you that you can.
You are an honorable member. Most people in your constituency will look up to you. Aside your constituency, people watch you and they look up to you. What words of encouragement do you have?
And so long as you're an MP, you're MP in Ghana, not your constituency, people, you help all manner of people. You see, charity work is part of me right from the beginning, helping people. If you have, why not help? So great, you must take great out of your life. So that's why I keep on saying, in everything, God first, followed by humility, and then being humble, and then how you engage people. Peace.
In just this ended primaries, that was last year. This year, May 13 years. Yeah. You had one of the closest contender everybody thought was going to defeat you. I don't know for what reason, but Kojo Jones was your contender. How did you feel about it? And were you at one point worried that you had a contender who was also well known in Ghana?
The issue is that as a politician, you must get your strategies. It's all about strategy. And then your competitors will come. Definitely, as human as we are, there will be some sort of anxiety. But at the end of the day, you must overcome the anxiety and then move on the ground. When you're on the ground, you prove to the people that no matter whatever they do, you are still on the ground. And that is why I say humility. Me, when you come to me at home, I serve my people. Even water, I serve them. Food, I serve them. And I wash my plate themselves. I carry the plate, collect the plate. People will be asking, Honorable, why are you doing? I say, leave that for me. It doesn't take anything out of it. It just add more value to you. So life, humility, peace, and loyalty. It's simple as that.
Lastly, before we end this interview, what's the future like for you? What should we look out for?
Oh, future, I may say I'm not God, so we are trusting God. And that's all that I'll say. We are trusting God. And then wherever God directs you or what God have directed, God will always lead your path and direct you. So whatever He sees, that's what we will comply with. So we are not on our own. So we will allow the Almighty to direct our path.
We have been speaking to the Member of Parliament for Keta, Honorable Kwame Gakpe, and he's been sharing his life stories with us and his humble beginnings. He has encouraged youth to stay humble and trust in God. I am Nimatu Yakubu Atoyese, GhanaWeb TV.